What's happening, my Jacked family? Coach Scott here, jackedafter40.com and shreddedafter40.com. Today I want to talk about something that is rarely discussed when it comes to getting lean after 40, and that is the timing of your cutting phase and your current life situation. More specifically, I like to talk about what can make a cutting phase feel easier and what can make one feel more difficult. I'm going to use my previous cutting phases from the past 5 years as an example. They have all been a tremendous success, none more successful than this past January mini cut. I want to talk about why that's the case, why it's felt easier for me throughout these past 5 mini cuts. Now, the one common denominator among all these cutting phases is that I began them in the month of January. Now, for me personally, I just know that that's the best time of year for me to take part in a cutting phase. First of all, I love feeding off the energy of all the New Year's resolutions going on out there, but what's most important is that it's coming off of the holidays, a time of year where I've indulged more often than normal. It doesn't mean I'm pigging out and stuffing myself silly. There's more opportunity to indulge in treats and drinks and all that kind of stuff. So when the holidays are done, I'm just kind of done with it all. Like, I have no desire for treats or alcohol at that point, so it's very easy for me to have a dry January where no alcohol is involved. It's very easy for me to pass on some of my favorite treats that I typically would want to consume throughout the year. Now, as most of us have experienced, motivation is easy to come by at the beginning of a cutting phase. We are stoked and amped up to finally look our best and feel our best. But as the cutting phase goes on, it's tougher and tougher to maintain that level of motivation, especially if your cutting phase is going to last 12 or 16 weeks. Now, 5 years ago is the last time I ever had to go through a 12-week cutting phase. The biggest reason why I was able to sustain a high level of motivation throughout is that I was taking part in that cutting phase along with my workout partner, Mike. Each week we were recording physique update videos. We set the bar of what we wanted to achieve each and every week. We wanted to be consistent with how much weight we dropped, how much fat we were losing, and just that form of camaraderie, having a partner doing it along with you, in addition to the public accountability of posting a video each and every week of my progress, was incredible. That kept the motivation high. So even days where I felt like indulging, it felt like I was going to break, I just kept thinking to myself, Friday I'm going to be recording a physique update video. I know Mike has been kicking butt all week, I got to keep pace to him, but I also don't want to let my followers down. I want them to see that I can stick with this and see it through to the very end. So that was two very big reasons, but why that was such a huge success was the public accountability and having a partner to do it along with there. Now, my lifestyle back then 5 years ago is different than it is today, so how I dieted back then is a bit different than how I would diet today. Back then, every Friday night I was going out with the guys. There was a huge spread of food, delicious food, and alcohol was involved. Now, I have no problem abstaining from alcohol, but trying to abstain from all of that delicious food just caused a lot of stress for me. So I found it much easier to stick with my diet if I allowed myself to indulge in some of those treats. So what I would do is eat in a greater calorie deficit during the week and allow myself to eat in a bit of a surplus on that Friday night. So I had more room to consume more calories and enjoy all of those favorite foods guilt-free. And usually the next day I wasn't as hungry, so it was very easy for me to eat in a bit of a larger calorie deficit that following day. As I mentioned, that was the last time I ever had to go through a 12-week cutting phase. Since then, it's just been 4-week January mini cuts. And as I mentioned, my lifestyle is different now than it was then. I'm no longer going out with the guys every Friday night, and my lifestyle today is different than it was last year as well. I was dating a girl at the time where every Friday night we'd watch a movie, and instead of eating in a calorie surplus, what I was doing was just eating up to maintenance level calories. We'd split a bag of chips together that would satisfy any craving that I had, and it just felt good to eat to maintenance level calories, and then the rest of the week my deficit didn't have to be as aggressive as it was during that 12-week cutting phase that I went through. After that recent January mini cut, I got myself at maintenance during the month of February, and then I found during the month of March, the emotional stress of the lockdown finally started taking a toll on me, and I caught myself eating my emotions. During that month, I gained 5 pounds, and losing that 5 pounds has proven to be more difficult, and the big part of it is the timing of it all and how different my lifestyle is right now compared to how it was in January during the lockdown when I had no temptations at all. Because once I decided to start losing that 5 pounds to get back to where I feel my best and perform my best, things opened up again, and I wanted to get out and see my friends. Restaurants were open, we could finally get out on patios, we could have some drinks together, we could have some great food together, and just finally be social beings once again. So if a friend invited me out, let's get out and get out together, I didn't want to turn it down. I wanted to, again, live my life to the fullest. I wanted to get back to some sort of normalcy. So it was a balance of deciding, what do I want more? What do I desire more in this moment? Do I desire getting to the point where I feel my best and perform my best by dropping this 5 pounds? Or what serves me better at this time? Getting out with my friends and really enjoying ourselves, having that drink, not turning down desserts or whatever. So what I have found is during this past, it's been 4 months now, you got April, May, June, and July, it's taken me to lose 4 of those 5 pounds. So it's been a super slow and steady process, and I've just been kind of going with the flow. So I will get out with the guys and have a drink. I'll go out on a date, have some good foods, and then I have to find ways to balance things out. I'm eating to the point of satisfaction. I'm not stuffing myself silly. Rarely do I get to the point of being in much of a calorie surplus, but there have been times where I have been in a surplus and I have to dig a deeper deficit throughout the week. And it's just been an interesting way of kind of balancing things out, going after my goals, my fat loss goals, but also going after my life goals at the same time. So I don't mind that it's been a slow and steady process. Ideally, I love to get it done and over with so I can get back to building muscle, being in a consistent, gentle surplus throughout the year, focus on growing my physique. Last year was the best year of building that I ever had, because I did that January mini cut, and then it was 11 months in at least maintenance. Most of the time, 7 months, 8 to 8 months spent in a gentle calorie surplus, consistent throughout. It's the most consistent I've ever been in a building phase in a very, very long time. And that was my hope for this year, but life always doesn't go the way that we want it to go. So it's been a fun way of just kind of going with the flow right now. I mean, 5 pounds, I look great, I feel great the entire time, and that's the thing. I don't mind dragging this out a little bit longer, living my life to the fullest, because I've looked great the entire time. Yeah, I know dropping another pound is going to be where I feel my best and perform my best, but right now I feel great as well. So it's okay if it takes me another month to drop this pound right now. I'm cool with that, knowing that I am still experiencing life to the fullest. It's different times. I mean, going so long not being able to hang out with my friends and some family, it takes a toll. So when you finally get to do it, you want to do it. I want to get some normalcy back in my life. This is beyond normalcy. You want to kind of take advantage of that, because I guess you always have that fear of, will it get taken away from us sometime soon? So I want to make sure I am taking advantage of those times, taking advantage of those opportunities, really appreciating those moments with my friends. So the take-home message is that your fat loss cutting phase can be either easier or more challenging based on your current life situations, your current lifestyle. If you have no vacations, no life events planned at all for the next little while, it can be a great opportunity to dial in your nutrition, to stick with your diet. You're gonna be faced with less temptations. Whereas if you have several trips booked, you got weddings coming up or other events coming up that you know there's going to be a lot of food involved, it can make it a little bit more challenging to stick with your diet. You can choose to abstain from some of those foods, and that can be fantastic during that time, picking and choosing when you're going to indulge a bit and whether you want to be in a gentle surplus or just eat up to maintenance level calories. You can choose those, but again, you're going to be faced with those temptations, and you're going to have some sort of willpower or plan to abstain from that, to stick with your diet plan during that time. Whereas it's a lot easier when you're not faced with those temptations. You don't have to have that mental energy devoted to avoiding those certain foods, or at least eating them in moderation and sticking with your calorie target for the day. And where this comes in handy is planning when you're going to embark on a cutting phase, or at least knowing that if you're embarking on a cutting phase during a time where you're going to be faced with a lot of events, that it is going to be more challenging for you, and you're going to have to be prepared for that. But ideally, trying to plan your cutting phases around times of reduced stress, reduced temptations, to really set yourself up for a greater chance of succeeding throughout this process. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you know a fellow bro who would benefit from watching today's video, do me a favor and share it with them. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your insights, share your feedback and experiences with me, and don't forget to download your free guide, Jacked After 40. Have yourself an amazing day. Catch you next video.